Pounder cannot be stored in the garages. Number one, because they're commercial. Number two, because they simply don't fit. The Speedo, pretty big vehicle. The Mule is a box truck. And the MTL Pounder Custom, or the MTL Pounder, I should say, is a big rig. So nothing that size is going to fit in a Grand Theft Auto Online garage. So because of that, I guarantee you Rockstar is going to have to add a new warehouse, or at least a new storage facility for these vehicles that will look something like this. It will have the ability to store these vehicles. If not, they're going to have to be attached in some way, shape, or form to our nightclubs, whether they just sit outside or whether they're vehicles that you can only call upon to use in the business. So like they won't actually be physically stored anywhere, but you would maybe like call up your, I don't know, assistant, and they would deliver it for you, and it would be pulled around to the front of your nightclub or wherever you are. That's one way I could see, but I definitely think Rockstar is going to be doing sort of a storage warehouse, whether it's going to be similar to the one we saw in Import-Export, whether it's going to be similar to the size of the facility, but they've got to store these vehicles somehow. And it's not just the business vehicles that they're going to have to store. We've already seen that Rockstar looked to be teasing some other wacky vehicles, like the Mammoth Stretch Limousine, and we know that vehicle's not going to be able to fit in a garage because it's just too long. So it's going to have to be stored somewhere. So that's the first part. These vehicles will be stored somewhere. It won't be in the garages, and it's going to have to be a new place. Now, because these vehicles are custom variants of older cars we've seen in the game, I feel like they are directly going to be involved in the business. Another reason why I know this is because they're all going to be coming out on day one. These are not going to be drip-fed vehicles, and that makes sense. If you're going to be using them and utilizing them in the business consolidation stuff, you would want them around on day one. You wouldn't want to wait 2 or 3 or possibly even longer weeks later just to be able to use this for the business. And even though we don't have a ton of details on how the business consolidation part of this update is going to work, I guarantee you that it's either going to be the combination of our sourcing supplies, so like guns and cars and biker supplies, or it's going to be the selling portion where you're going to be combining all of that and selling it. And because of that, you're going to need vehicles that will allow you to transport all of that cargo at once. And I guarantee you Rockstar is not going to allow you to just schlep that in any sort of vehicle. It's going to have to be a specialized one. And those 3 specialized vehicles are going to be the Vapid Speedo Custom, the Maibatsu Mule Custom, and the MTL Pounder Custom. Now here's how I think they're going to work. These 3 vehicles, because of their different sizes, shapes, and types of cars, are going to be used for different types of scenarios. Let's start with the Vapid Speedo. Because this is going to be the smallest vehicle we're looking at, because it is just a cargo delivery van, I feel like this is the vehicle that you will use for your smaller delivery vehicles. Now, because it is going to be the smallest size, I feel like it is going to be the quickest, most maneuverable, obviously, and I feel like because it will be the custom variant, it's going to get nice upgrades in terms of armor, engine, transmission, bulletproof tires. There might even be a little bit of armored feature to this. If I were to take a guess, I would say something similar to the Kuruma, or what the Executives and Other Criminals armored vehicles were like. If I had to take a guess, that's what I would assume Rockstar would do, and this would be your go-to vehicle for smaller deliveries. That would ultimately make sense, it being the smallest vehicle. The next one on the list is the Maibatsu Mule Custom. Because this is a box truck, this would be our medium-sized vehicle. So in this vehicle, we'd be able to carry more cargo, maybe even potentially an import-export vehicle because it would be big enough to carry something like that. But because it is larger, you are going to have some trade-offs. The Mule certainly wouldn't be the fastest vehicle, wouldn't be as swift, but maybe it would get some other upgrades as well. Maybe it's a little bit more armored. Surely it's going to have the same sort of features, transmission, brakes, being able to upgrade the engine. A lot of people, including myself, have speculated that this is going to be more of a Decotora truck that's going to have neon lights all over it that actually might serve as an advertisement for our nightclubs. And it could be that, but it still also could be a delivery vehicle for cargo. I'm actually hoping it's both, and I do think that these vehicles are going to have their own unique traits that do make them pretty special. Like, we know that all of them are getting their own unique liveries, so we know they're going to be customized in that shape and form, but I hope that each vehicle offers a little bit of different personality in terms of how you deliver the cargo. So the Maibatsu Mule Custom would sort of be the one in the middle. Medium amount of cargo, medium maneuverability, probably medium armor resistance. So that would be your overall, just general medium style vehicle. The final one would be the large delivery vehicle, and that's the MTL Pounder Custom. So because we know this is a big rig, this would allow us to carry the largest amount of cargo, maybe multiple import-export vehicles, the most amount of cargo possible. But of course, because it is a big rig, it is going to be slower, it's going to be way less maneuverable. However, it might be the most armored and well protected out of all the delivery vehicles. It might be able to absorb 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7, or 8 rockets or explosions protecting your cargo. Out of all of them, I would say this one has the highest possibility of being weaponized to maybe fend off some attackers in a Hydra or an Oppressor. That would actually be really cool, because all the delivery vehicles we have right now, whether it's a UPS truck or a motorcycle, none of them can defend themselves against doing this import-export stuff. None of them can defend against players that have weaponized vehicles, because none of them have weapons on there. Now, another thing about the MTL Pounder Custom is because it's a big rig, I'm wondering if there will be options to switch out the back. So in-game, the MTL Pounder Custom is locked to sort of like the big box on the back, but it would be cool if you could add different attachments on the back. Maybe you could have a vehicle exporter attachment that would allow you to have 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles. Maybe it looks something like this. Or maybe you go for the reinforced cab option that will just allow you to, sell your cargo a little bit easier. There's a lot of different ways that Rockstar could go about doing this to make these 3 vehicles ultimately work really well. Now, another reason I can see Rockstar doing this, the small, medium, and large, is they've done this in the past with the CEO cargo warehouses. They've made small, medium, and large. So I feel like this is something they would do for delivery vehicles as well, having a small, medium, and large category that you choose from. So let's say, for example, you go to source cargo or sell cargo. Instead of having the option to use a vehicle off the street or one that the game provides you, maybe an in-game menu will pop up and say, would you like to use Speedo Custom, Maibatsu Mule Custom, or MTL Pounder Custom? And then of course you could pick that vehicle and it would have its own unique abilities and features. And another reason why I suspect this is the case is because of one of the leaked rewards for the guest list actually has an armor upgrade discount for the Mule and the Pounder, which to me indicates that that's not like armor that you put on at the Los Santos Custom Shop, but instead armor that you would upgrade at like a special vehicle warehouse, like if you were exporting CEO crate cargo. So to me, that sounds like it's going to be directly for the business. Either way, I think these are going to be incredibly useful vehicles. I think really the final question I have about these cars is, how is Rockstar going to allow us to use them in the businesses and also outside of the businesses? Like, for example, will we be able to use these cars in free roam, or will they be attached to the nightclub business where you can only use them for deliveries, sourcing, selling missions, etc.? Number 2, how is it going to work for other businesses not attached to the nightclub? Like, for example, if you were doing a biker cell mission that had cocaine, instead of getting 4 motorcycles that are slow and incredibly susceptible to getting blown up, what if you had the option to put all that cargo in a Pounder Custom? Something that's more protected, something that would be better for transporting goods across the state of San Andreas. So I really do hope that Rockstar adds some quality of life improvements with these vehicles as well, adding them to our other businesses and not just locking them to the nightclub stuff. That's what I'm really hoping for. I know that's asking for a lot, especially coming from Rockstar, and I feel like I've been really ambitious with their plans for these vehicles, but it makes sense. You've got the little vehicle, the medium vehicle, the big vehicle. Like, it has to be for this. This has to be what Rockstar's plan is. Otherwise, they wouldn't just be reusing older vehicles. Because if this isn't their plan, then that's kind of lazy. Like to just slap on custom versions of existing vehicles we've had since day one. And not even exciting vehicles like the Speedo, a van, the Mule, a box truck, the Pounder, a big rig. So I'm really hoping that this is the case, and that's what I am pretty optimistic for. But I guess we're really just going to have to wait and see until we hopefully get some more details from Rockstar, which, like I said, would be awesome to get in the next couple of days. But anyways, that right there is how I think the business vehicles are going to work in the nightclub update with the Speedo, Mule, and Pounder. Let me
Can't go through with it.